That was 7 minutes ago. Oh my gosh. Hey, Holly. You're early. Does it send out the notification before I even like click go live? Yeah, I was just sitting here mentally preparing myself by watching videos on YouTube. So I'm going to use the SKT Revelations and the SKT Vitruvian edition today. The Revelations and Vitruvian editions. So I caught up with my journey buddy today. And she said that she had seen somewhere that whatever was, that there may be some things from when, yeah, I'm here. How you doing? That there may be some things from when Mars was in Gemini that might be coming back up now that Venus is in Gemini. So Mars was early in Gemini, like mid-August, and then I think it retrograded in Gemini, so it was in Gemini for a minute. And now Venus is early Gemini, so maybe something like early to mid-August is coming up in a new way or whatever. So I figured I'd pull some cards. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh my gosh. Accurate. Accurate. Ooh, the initiate. Okay. So I'm just going to pull a few cards. We'll see if anything lines up. I don't quite know how I want to do this. I don't know. I had an idea to pull like 2 Celtic cards and then to just read them. And then I had an idea to do like this side, that side. And then I had an idea to just like shuffle the decks and then pull one off the top of each. Actually, what I'm going to do is I want at least 3 cards. We're going to do some math. I want at least 3 cards, and there are 80 cards here. Because it's 78, it might be 81. It's 78 plus 2 extra fools, plus the title card. I would say 80 cards to make it easy. I can do 4 cards. So 20, but I want less than 10 cards. So between 4 and 8. Hold up, wait. What is math? 80 divided by 4 is 20. 80 divided by 10 is 8. No, yeah, 80 divided by 10 is 8. So if I do 8 plus 20, and then I divide that by 2, that's not right. Because that's 28 divided by 2, which is 14. Today has been such a math head. Today's been an unexpectedly heavy math day. And when I'm not in school, my math is terrible. It's decent. My math is decent when I'm not in school, but I can make a lot of simple mistakes that I can make when I'm in school. But, even more so. So maybe I'll do 14. Does that mean every 14 cards? No, I want to pick a number between 8 and 20. So what I'm going to do is, in both decks, I'm going to shuffle it up. And I'm going to shuffle up the deck. I'm going to generate a bunch of random numbers. Let's see. I will, from my spiritual, what's the, not a predecessor? Because a predecessor came before. What's a concurrent? I guess a spiritual predecessor in a way, since Rob's Tarot, more recently known as Rob Odinson, has officially been retired. I'm going to generate random numbers between 8 and 20 because I want at the most 10 cards. At the least, I want 4. My fan is on right now because my computer's a little warm. So give me one moment to get this set up, and then we'll see what it's about. There's a lot of manipulation happening right now. My laptop is warm, so I turn on the fan. I have it on an elevated stand, so I raised it. I'm using my laptop webcam and my little lamp because it's too hot. It is so warm, and it got warm so quickly. I don't know what this means. Sure, why not? Who am I now in this world without her? Petty and dull with the nerve to doubt her. What does it matter? It's already done. Well, it got to be. I don't know the rights to that song. It's over, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it over? Excuse me. Girl, how do I. Oh no, momento. I know how to do this. Um. Okay. Enjoy this brief intermission, because once I start talking, I probably will not stop. I don't know what this means. I don't need this. I'll do automatic. I wish I could like. Oh. Boo 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 boo. See, why is it so much though? Why also this? Wait a second. Yeah, it's not even there. Okay. There we go. All right. We're getting there. And by we, I mean me, obviously. Like this. Oh, I wish I could, like. Crop this. Yes! Hold up. Are you the love of my life? Oh, maybe we'll see. I want the top. Ooh, yes. And the bottom. I think this is working. That's my happy hum. Okay, give me one moment. This is working, but it is manual and incredibly slow. But that's fine. I have found. I just like got into the filters on OBS because I was actually going to record a video. I think the last night I was live when I had my podcast mic still hooked up. And I was going to be like, I haven't just like recorded a video in a minute. And since I have it hooked up, I kind of want to do it. And then I found the noise canceling filter for like audio input. And I was like, what? And it was like actually pretty nice. So, and I'm back. Look at that. Got a little Google action. There you can see it's 3:33 there. It is 6:35 here. Whew. Goodness. It's 80s in Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Oh my gosh. You got more snow today. Arizona is where I need to be today. Because look, I'm sweating already. Already sweating. Like, I don't know if I necessarily need snow, but like, I miss 50s. I feel like we skipped the 60s, you know? And we went straight into like 70s and 80s. What's the temperature right now? I'm curious. 76 degrees. 76. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm going to give this 2 more shuffles, and then I'm going to give the other deck 3 shuffles. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate a random number between 8 and 20 because I want at the most 10 cards and at the least 4 cards. And I'm going to flip those cards over. And when I get to a card that's flipped over in the deck, I'll stop. Or when I run out of cards. Yeah, because if I just keep going, then I might end up having every single card, and I'm no, thank you. I think no. Okay, I was about to say I think the title card just flipped over. There's another card that flipped over. I'm gonna pull that card out of the deck. I'm gonna give this some cuts, and this deck is ready. Now I'm gonna move over to the other one. I'm gonna do 3 shuffles. And then we'll get into it. What is this exactly? I mean, you probably know your life. And if something has come up in your life, then you can probably go back to like, what was that, 8 months ago? When Mars was where Venus is in Gemini in C. I was just like blown away. It's 37 there. See, 37 I could do. Especially when it's almost 80 outside. I can do a 37. Oh no. Oh no. That's way many cards. You know what? I'm going to put these back in the deck. And I'm going to do 5 shuffles. And then if they come back out, they come back out. At first, it was like 1 card that flipped over, and then 3 other cards flipped over. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's too much. And then we'll just see. We'll see what's up. So, Vitruvian is going to be Mars retrograde. It's the sepia tone, or not retrograde, Mars in Gemini, because Mars was already in Gemini. I think that was 2. Venus will be the one in color because it's like, color TVs and black and white TVs or media and cinematography. Last one. Okay. Oh, 1 card. We'll end it there. And then cut. All right. So Mars came out, Archangel of Healing. Angel who heals, angel who salves and purifies. And you can see her doing some temperance chemistry, filling these vials, Some of the bottles have messages in them. There's a fish that's here. See, it's like this one has messages in it, it seems like. Or maybe it's like something that she's diffusing, question mark, into the water, like cinnamon sticks or something. Venus is coming out with the Wheel of Life, which is interesting because it's almost like when Mars was in Gemini, there was some healing that was deposited. And now that Venus is transiting through Gemini, it's going to like be dispensed. And that's just like the overalls. Overalls. So now I come over here. I'm going to start with the Vitruvian. You have it on your screen. 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then we do another one. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could honestly just pull them out of the deck instead of just flipping them over, but it's fine. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Almost forgot what number comes after 12. And 13. That's the number that comes after 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 12, 13. I'll go back to the top and I'll stop here. And now I'll pull them out of the deck. Like I said, oh wow. I could have just pulled them out at first, but why do it that way? Oh, snap. And then this card. Bottom of the deck is the joined one, the Two of Cups. But I'm going to probably end up shuffling it because 2 pages came out. Pages in the SKT come with messages. And so you get a bonus card. So I'll pull a bonus card when the time comes to pull those bonus cards. I'm actually going to put them in this order. First card that came out at the top. Now we're just going to do the same thing again with the other deck. 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I feel like this is working out so well now that I got it set up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The title card. Nice. The 13th card, there were 12 cards left. Title card was at the top of the deck, so number 13 hit it. So now I'm going to pull these cards out, and then I will get into the reading. Another page. Imagine that. Bottom of the deck over here is the 3 of Swords, the bereaved. Oof. 2 of Cups in August, 3 of Swords in April now. I'm going to put these up here. I also got another page, so I'm probably going to have to, I will have to get a bonus card from here too. So, thank you, random number generator, for your participation. You claps for the random number generator. And then I'm going to put these in reverse order so I know what's at top. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards for Venus, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards for Mars. Oh my gosh, love it. So we're going to do this like this. I'm going to start these here under it, and then I'll go. So it'll be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I have just enough space. Isn't that funny how that worked out? And I didn't end up with like a million cards. 1, 2. It'll be like the mirror. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, like since they're 6 and 6, they might match up. So on the side of Mars, I already put them down. I'll pick them back up. I didn't think about it. I don't know. There's not a lot of forethought today, apparently. And I got to put them in the right order. So the first card that came out is the Angel. And I said, like, there might have been some kind of healing in August, timestamp 21 minutes. 21:00. I'll just put that here so I don't forget. Dark Angel of Healing came out of this deck, and then the Wheel of Fortune came out in the other deck. And there was an energy of a potential healing that was like set up or that started in roughly August when Mars was early Gemini. And now that Venus is occupying the same space, the Wheel of Fortune is going to be like churning out, distributing that healing. And then the first card from the Mars side was Temperance, Temperance being a card of healing. Also, I said she was like temperancing something because there's like the cup in her hand that it's tilted to pour something out, but I don't know if anything's coming out of it. So yeah, it's like confirming that healing. Is that Hanael, Archangel? I don't know. Raphael, I guess. And then there's the Stronghold of the Flame, which is the Page of Wands. So I'll get a bonus card here, followed by the Stronghold of the Grail, which is the Page of Cups. So another bonus card. Alchemizing, sort of polar opposites. And then we have Fire and Water. And it's like, she's mixing the water, but usually, well, it's Sagittarius, which is fire. But usually there'll be like the upward parting triangle, which is the symbol of fire on the chest of the angel that's doing it. I don't want to get the order mixed up. And then after that, it's the Gardener, Saturn, and Taurus, 7 of Pentacles, followed by the Magician, the Magus, and then the Memory Keeper, the 6 of Cups. So this is this side. And then the other side, I want to pick these up in order to make it easier for myself. The first card that came out is the Herald of the Winds, which is the Page of Swords. And again, there's the message in this deck. So we have the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands on the other side. This is the air that is the result of that meeting of fire and water. So we start with almost this message of the resulting what started back then. And then we have the Ivory Shield, who was attendant to, who was the shield for the Archangel of Healing. King of Cups energy, Queen of Cups energy, but the kings are the archangels, the shields are the queens, the strongholds are the knights, and the heralds are the pages. So we have the Queen of Cups here, Ivory Shield, followed by the Wish Granted, 9 of Cups, which is gorgeous. Yeah, so it would be here next, followed by the Shining Flame, which is the Knight of Wands, It was the Embers of the Salamander, followed by the Contender, which is the Five of Scepters, followed by the title card. And again, like the title card was at the top of the deck. The last number that came out was 13, and I only had 12 cards left. So I went back to the top and pulled it. That's what I did to get the wish granted. Like, I think there were 2 cards left. I think it was number 13. Did they both end on the number 13? If so, that's interesting. I think they did. I think I can turn this off now. Can you even hear that? If you can hear the fan, I apologize. But maybe I'll timestamp 25:30 for when I turn the fan off. Actually, let me see real quick. Let me see. Un momento, un momento, un momento, por favor, por favor. I should be. They used to have me at the top of the list. There I am. Have me at the top of the list. There. So. Oh, you can't even hear it, really. A little bit, but it's not too distracting. So, right off the bat, from first glance, yeah, because of all of the page, there's the page of wands and the page of cups after temperance in the space of when Mars was in Gemini. So it's almost like there were 2 things that began that may have been in different like areas or arenas of our lives, but they've always been connected because temperance came out first. And then the first thing, it's almost like the first thing that Venus coming into that space of Gemini, it's almost like revealing some of the preliminary or some of the first sort of implications of whatever those 2, it's like what they look like sort of together, right? And then we go into the 7 of Pentacles from Mars, meaning like over time it would build up because the 7 of Pentacles is cultivation. And then we come into the Magician. The Magician is the one that has all the tools and that knows how to use them to create whatever it wants to create. And then after that Magician is the Memory Keeper, which is the 6 of Cups. In this deck, the lovers are like the masculine element is the dragon and the feminine element is the phoenix. We see them as healthy adults in the lovers. We see them as chained in the devil. We see them as infants, pages, again, in the 6 of Cups. So they end in like their infantile sort of state from the Mars aspect. And again, that was like the archangel of healing. So it might not have concluded in August. It may have been like the introduction of a cycle. Now with the Wheel of Life, and I like that it's like, I look at the title of the wheel in different decks. Sometimes it is more important than other times. So like in some decks, in most decks, I guess it's the Wheel of Fortune. Some decks it's just the wheel. In the Witch's Tarot, it's the Wheel of the Year. In this deck, it's the Wheel of Life. So it's like, instead of it being isolated to a year, it's like life, which can be like the duration of the power of the impacts of what's going on right now. Like it could have the opportunity or the ability to affect our lives for at least some time. That one is starting again with that Page of Swords. The Page of Swords, again, it's feeling like it's the meeting of the water and the air that was being alchemized and temperanced back in August. That immediately followed by the Ivory Shield, which is the Queen of Cups. The Ivory Shield in the Vitruvian edition is it's the card that comes out when it signifies that it's something that's not necessarily for me to read. Sometimes it is, but Ivory Shield started coming out with an energy of like what lies beyond or behind the shield is for the person that you're reading for to know. and it's for them to find out it's not for you. It was like one of those locked behind spiritual whatever. And I'm not the type of person to intrude because I don't need anybody's guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, whoever coming after me because I didn't poked and pried and dug into something and then I give incorrect information or false information or information before they're ready to get that information and then it does something to their life path and it's like, it ain't on me. I honor it. So she is the protector of the watery realms. But right after that comes the Nine of Cups, which is the wish granted. So it may be like we may be coming into a season of like blessings that I don't know if we would have necessarily self-sabotaged or if for like maybe it's like emotionally related to something that we could be kind of guarded against because it's preceded by the ivory shield. But that's what all the healing from like the Mars and Gemini energy, that's like the trail that Mars blazed for Venus in Gemini was to like ease that journey. It's almost like Mars would have cut through the thicket, would have used all of its energy to like pave the roads, and then Venus just takes the carriage, through the forest or whatever. Then after that is the Knight of Wands. So it's a wish fulfillment that might encourage some kind of action from us just because we like love it so much. It feels like it plays on the passion, which is interesting though, because this was also one of the final things that Pisces season was leaving us with. It was the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. This one is the Embers of the Salamander, which was like we were coming into something at the same time that it's like what we were doing in our lives was resonating with some kind of external force. So either that's like you finish your education or you go to get some kind of training and then you meet someone who's looking for you or anything like that. It's almost like a synchronistic alignment of multiple things. And then again, we have the Page of Wands from Mars back here. At that time, I'm going to look and see real quick. I know Neptune was in Pisces because Neptune has been in Pisces. So right now, Venus is follow current date and time, please. Right now, Venus is 1 degree. No, right now, Venus is 2 degrees and 5 minutes. How fast is Venus? Because I'm pretty sure she was like 1 degree a few hours ago, but like late ones, apparently. Right now, Venus is 2 degrees, 5 minutes of Gemini. So I'm going to look at August 17th of 2022. Mars was in Taurus. Hold up. Did it retrograde? Hold up. I thought it was August. August 24th. Okay, it was a little later. Let's go August 21st. 0 degrees, so it must have been moving quick, but then it retrograded. So August 23rd, roughly. August 23rd was when Mars was 2 degrees 7 minutes at this time. So at the same time, August 23rd, August 23rd, 2022, Mars was in Gemini where Venus is now. So like later August. What was in Pisces at that time? Neptune was retrograde Pisces 24 degrees. Opposing Mercury in Virgo. Why was I looking at Pisces? Why was I looking at Pisces? I don't even remember. Why was I like, what was in Pisces? The Knight of Wands. Oh, because Pisces season had ended. That's why. Pisces season, one of the final things that it was giving us was the Knight of Wands. And the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands are both here. That's why. So the Knight of Wands is here, and followed by the Knight of Wands is the Five of Wands, which is the contender. The Knight of Wands into the Five of Wands could be a few things. It could be us entering into a competitive arena. It could also be how we manage our passions with our responsibilities. And I guess what we'll be having the solar eclipse in Aries coming up. And then the nodes will be shifting into Aries, Libra, North Node, Aries, South Node, Libra. So it is a time to like nodally really do the things that like you want to do rather than like doing the things that other people. It's like not being so completely, it's not extremely self-centered, but it is like kind of doing what you want to do rather than like listening to other people. Hey David, how you doing? So now let's get these extra. I probably should have got these before because I feel like that was literally the rundown. I don't know what else I would do. I have an idea, but okay. So, oh gosh, Eight of Cups on top of the Page of Wands. Who's coming out for the Page of Cups? Two cards, Ace of Cups and the Emperor. Wow. Ace of Cups and the Emperor for the Page of Cups. The Eight of Cups came out for the Page of Wands, and when the Eight of Cups came out face up, there's a card that landed face down on top of Temperance. So I'm going to honor it and keep it on Temperance. Bottom of the deck is the Force, which is strength in this deck, and the North Node is right there in the Force. So at that time, of course, the North Node was where it is now, which is Taurus. I guess I'm going to look and see if it was like conjuncting Uranus or if it was still further away. So August 23rd, 2022, the North Node was 16 degrees Taurus. Uranus was 18 degrees Taurus. So not a super strong opposition to Neptune and Pisces because Neptune is 24 degrees. But it looks like Juno was 1825 retrograding Pisces, while Uranus was 1855 direct Taurus. So that one's a pretty tight opposition. Who am I looking at? Uranus. So it was squaring the North Node 16 degrees Taurus was squaring Venus at 14 degrees Leo, 1459 Leo. And it was also squaring loose-ishly Saturn retrograde at 21 degrees of Aquarius. So Saturn in Aquarius and Venus in Leo and a T-square with the North Node and Uranus, I guess, in Taurus. So Scorpio, the South Node was in Scorpio, so that's a grand cross. So in that, though, so we have the North Node, South Node axis. Uranus was also on the North Node. I was talking to my journey buddy earlier, and she was talking about when Jupiter transits into Uranus, like later in the year. And I was like, oh, that feels like it could be really interesting because Uranus has been it's almost like Uranus has been cracking things it seems, in Taurus. Or Uranus has been applying a lot of pressure in Taurus. And then when Jupiter comes in, like it feels like that force of expansion can cause things to almost fall apart. But it's in a way, it's like a butterfly emerging from the chrysalis. Because it's like as things like something is emerging, like the expansion of Jupiter is going to get something to like bust out of its shell or whatever. Wrong phone. Anyway, do you know the Muffin Man? Oh my gosh, Rebecca! Yeah, I know Rebecca. I love her. I've loved her. She might be a Virgo. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So what was it? Oh, I already forgot. So it was Uranus with the North Node, and then squaring it. So on Aquarius was Saturn, and then Leo was Venus. But that's a like fairly loose square. That's the difference between 14 and 21, which is like 7. And Saturn was retrograding at that time. Venus and Leo. So it was maybe it could have been a point in time where it almost feels like something out of the ordinary or something that wasn't necessarily the norm. Like Saturn retrograde in Aquarius opposing Venus and Leo, it's almost like more it's almost like so engrossed in the creation of something. If it's like a Leo creativity, or if it is like more romantic, it's like meeting someone who I don't want to say like you lower your standards for, but it's like something about the fire of Venus and Leo weakens the standard of Saturn and Aquarius. It's like I can make an exception for this. While Uranus was also on top of the North Node. So it's almost like something could have been coming into our lives. Again, something about how the cards are laying out. Something about when Mars was transiting Gemini, it was making the way easier for Venus to pass through later. Part of that healing with the Archangel of Healing. So for this Knight of Swords on the other side. Who? What? What? You see this? How are you? I'm gonna pull it. I thought it flipped over the way that it like felt, but it was just sticking up. I'll take it. It's also face down, so yeah, I really like it. Really felt like it flipped over. Bottom of the deck now is the Archangel of Mysteries. I love that the Archangel of Mysteries is at the bottom of the deck now, especially when we end on the title card. It's also interesting because again, the third page that came out in that final card, it was the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and the Knight of Wands, clarifying the third card of what Pisces season was leaving us with as we head into Aries season. But we've seen again the Page of Wands on the side of Mars, the Knight of Wands on the side of Venus, but the Page of Pentacles has become the Archangel of Mysteries, which is like the King of Pentacles in this deck. It's the angel who illuminates the shadow. And these are tones. Are these tones? I'm pretty sure they're tones. It's a 4-tone. I got to see what the 4th tone is. Give me 1 second. I almost want to say the 2nd tone is rhythmic. I think I have a folder. Not now. Get out of Mayan. Oh, are you serious? Are you serious? 0? There's nothing in there. Oof, let's Google it. Google will be quicker. Candy is dandy, but Google is quicker. That doesn't rhyme. Tones. and the dream spell. Dream spell. Mayan. Let's see. We're on Wikipedia, so you know. Description. I know I had this picture. Yeah, it's not. Where did I put this? I feel like because I recently came across one of them where I had all of the solar seals and then the 13 moons on the side. I literally just came across that picture and I felt like I like favorited it or something where I could like access it quickly and easily. Gallery. I'm like, where are my pictures even? I can't even find my pictures right now. Ah! Come on. I was looking for this. No, never mind. I was gonna say I was looking for this the other day. Oh, I don't know. Um, yeah, there you go. Thank you, Holly. Candy is dandy, but Google is handy. Arguelles. Arguelles. Numbering the years. I know I had this. This is so annoying. I should be able to find it in here. Usually I would give up by now. Oh gosh, I gotta log in. But I am actually going to take the time to find this. So, you have been gifted another reprieve from hearing me speak. You're in here. And it is embed image. Oh no, not video, image. There we go. And Mayan. Oh, come on. I guess we'll just scroll through them. Oh, wait, here's one. Nope. Well, luckily, I know where to look. It's only 26 pages of results. Trust me, this might be worth it. We'll find out whether it is or whether it isn't. But after I find it, I might keep it. I should like bookmark it somehow. I literally know I just saw this recently. Actually, I think it was on my iPad. Maybe. No, I don't think it was actually, because my iPad doesn't have many pictures on it. Those are more on my phone. I literally could have just gone to probably Googled Mayan calendar calculator and have found it by now, but we here now. I haven't used the Magical Dimensions Oracle cards and activators in a hot minute. I should pull those out at some point. Let's see. I'm on page 9, if you were curious. Only 632 results to go through. We should be getting fairly close. I know it's in here. I know it is. Oh, as knows it is. If I didn't switch phones, I would be able to look it up on my other device. I don't think so. Here we go. No! We're getting close, though. We're getting very close. It was the same document, but like cropped. If it's on the 13th page, I'm going to lose it. Apparently, the number of the day is 13. We're getting close, though. We're getting mighty close. Nope, doesn't look like 13 has it. Nope, not on 13. I know, the suspense, right? I know that this is as thrilling for you as it is for me. Oh, come on. I know I'm getting close. I'm going to pull before and after the major in both decks of the page that this is on. I'm like, come on. You are all over this. We're getting so close. It is so palpable. I can see the image in my mind. Page 17. Ooh, don't scare me like that. No! I closed out of it. Girl. Well, I know I was on page 17, so. Luckily, I don't have to start over. I just have to hit the forward arrow 17 times. Ooh, that was scary. 18. Page 18. Are we looking at the moon? I don't even know if she put it in the book of maps, though, to be honest. I did notice that she's incorporated the tones in the Revelations edition, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they're in the book of maps. Or on page 19. The sun, that's pretty cool, right? If it goes beyond 22, then, it's a wrap. See, it's like literally here. Okay, the concentration is increasing. I'm seeing more than just like a one-off reference. Oh, we getting so close. We getting so close. It's like Mayan, 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 Mayan. I know that image is on. Yeah. Okay. Page 20 wing. Page 20 wing. I know it's here. I'm not going to make it through all 26 pages and not find this. I'm not. It's not going to happen. It has to be in here because I pulled it from here before. And I'm like 99% sure I didn't overlook it. But I'm not seeing a whole bunch of Mayan stuff anymore either. Oh, okay. Whew. I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to see it again. That was page 22, so I'm not going to pull before and after anything. I really didn't think it was this early or this late, I guess, but it makes sense. There's a version of it. That's the traditional. Give me the dream spell. Here you are from 129, 2020 at 6:26 p.m. Self-existing is number 4. How long did that take? 10 minutes? So, the 4th tone is self-existing. Manifest your dreams. Give your ideas discipline and form. Ooh, see, I told you it'd be worth it. Manifest your dreams. Here's the, what is it? Wish granted. Why did I even look at that? Who is a tone 4? You want to know something interesting though? So the Ivory Shield is tone 4. The Shining Flame is tone 4. And the Contender is also tone 4. The bottom of the deck, the Archangel of Mysteries. That's why I went looking, because the Archangel of Mysteries is also tone 4. Archangel of Mysteries, it's self-existing, manifest your dreams. I was curious. Oh, gosh. I was curious who was behind the Archangel of Mysteries. I'll give you 3 seconds to guess. If you want longer than 3 seconds, you can pause the video. If you're live, then sorry. It's the angel, which is Temperance. The angel is behind the Archangel of Mysteries, and the devil is behind the angel. Now, the devil holds the South Node right there. The Force, Strength, holds the North Node. It's interesting that Mars would hold the North Node while Venus would hold the South Node. And then under that is 2 cards. Well, we'll just look at the Bread of Life, because this card also came out for that Pisces and the Aries. But anyway, in Seaway. So, Archangel of Mysteries at the bottom of the deck. So, because when I went pulling for the Page of Wands, the extra card that flipped over face down on top of Temperance, both cards have a card face down on them. The first card, Temperance from Mars, and the Herald, of course, the Herald of the Winds. We'll look at Temperance first. Well. Guess what card in the deck fell out on top of Temperance face down when I went pulling the extra message from the Page of Wands? If you would have guessed the Wheel of Life, you would have been correct. The same Wheel of Life that I guess is the overall energy for Venus and Gemini. So yeah, the healing, because again, the overall is the Archangel of Healing. The very first card that came out was Temperance. The Temperance that's sitting right behind the Archangel of Mysteries. The angel, it's the angel in this deck. But it came out in reverse. Because it came out in reverse, low-hanging fruit, it's easy to say that this was just the start of it. And so again, how the Page of Wands and the Page of Cups came out separately, and there's this energy of the first card being the Page of Swords on the other side. It's like the meeting of that fire and air. Now we're going to begin to understand some kind of commonality or some kind of overlap between these two time periods of our lives. And again, like this card only got a clarifier because of the one next to it. The one next to it is a messenger, and it fell out face down right on top of the angel, so I just left it there. This is in the SKT. Temperance is the mutable signs. You can see Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces there. The world is the fixed signs, and the chariot is the cardinal signs. In this Wheel of Fortune, we have the zodiac wheel. We have I feel like the prima materia. We have the four elements: earth, water, air, and fire. And then we got the tarot, Taro on the wheel. We got some other stuff. We got phases of the moon. It's a whole bunch of stuff. And what's interesting is like these ropes that's all around this wheel. Those ropes we also see on the angel. In this deck, in the SKT, the angel Temperance appears in the Eight of Swords. When she frees herself, the ropes are still there. But they don't bind her anymore. Like she has full range of mobility. But it's interesting that the ropes are here on both of these. It's also interesting that the ropes don't appear for Venus. And Venus, all of the rope is gone. If you compare these two wheels of life. And I'm going to leave the one in reverse. Right? No ropes over here, which is interesting. The Eight of Cups came out for this Page of Wands. So it's definitely a departure. And it's led by fire. It's like, I don't know if something new came into our lives at that point, or if something was transpiring in our life in August that caused us to want something new, that caused us to consider more than, everything that we were experiencing at that time. And that caused us to desire something. It's almost like, oh, it was just on the tip of my brain. It was the Nine of Wands, Judgment, the High Priestess, and the Two of Swords that came out clarifying the Son of Cups in that reading that I did not too long ago. The one where I had like the 4 decks. I was the Kims when I was using the Kims. Because it was like there's something that we want that's almost like a ways away, which is interesting because in the in-between tarot, it was in between the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands, and I mentioned that Pisces video because both the Page and the Knight of Wands came out. But it's like we could see the person sort of emerging, and then there was the other person holding the wand, and we saw the steps back into, I think that was, I used the in-between tarot when I built the Hirite spread. We saw the Knight of Pentacles like completing those steps before she entered. It was between the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands. Sorry, I said Pentacles. I watched these back and I'm like, I said the wrong suit. It was in between the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands. And it was that energy of like, when I was a knight, I could get away with doing this stuff. But now that I'm a queen, my desires have elevated. I no longer desire to go out and get trashed because my liver can't handle it. You know what I mean? When I was in my young days, I can get away with it. But now, And it's fine because there are other things that bring me joy and fulfillment at this stage of my life. There are other things that I want and other things that I desire. When I wanted it, I got it. No, I don't want it anymore. We want other things anyway. It's that energy of like, because read backwards, it was almost like there was something that we asked for And the high priestess was like, okay, like, you want it? I got it for you. But we had to go through the Nine of Wands to get there because there's this judgment that occurs. There's this judgment that happens. And the judgment might just be like, is our lifestyle conducive to having it? Right? It's almost like how they say you can't have your cake and eat it too. Right? It's like if you want to have enough money to go to Chicago, but you spend all your money on Doritos, how are you ever going to get to Chicago? Because all your money has been spent on Doritos. You know what I mean? You could always be invited to Chicago. Somebody else could pay the expenses to get you to Chicago. Not to say it can't happen, but anything could happen. Anyway, that Page of Wands triggered an Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups also came out recently because it was the 5 and then the 2 and then the 1. I remember. I don't remember what deck it was. Yeah, it was the Astro Matrix Tarot. So the Page of Cups, the Herald, the Stronghold of the Grail, sorry. The Shining ones are the Knights. The Heralds and the Zephyrs are the Heralds, and the Strongholds are the same. The Shining ones are the Knights. Like the Shining Flame is the Knight of Wands. Full of just miss speech. Her clarifying cards, the Emperor and the Ace of Cups. So this is definitely like, was that the thing? Was it fire leading water? I think that was a thing like a month and a half ago. Because it was like there was something within us that we were coming into, a potential that we were realizing, but it's a potential that we didn't see ourselves fulfilling. So it was like it was limited by the self, but the soul, the innermost expression, was trying to bring it to the surface. So maybe it escaped through dreams, maybe it escaped through daydreaming, maybe it escaped through flights of fancy, maybe it escaped through things that we would hear in passing or things that we would see in passing, and we would say, oh, not me, or not for me, or not because of this, or not because of that. And so I feel like it's sort of coming in here where the passion, the desire of the Page of Wands is causing us to at least want to move forward in some way. But that's because of the magnitude of this energy. Like the Ace of Cups is the most water you're going to get out of any cup because it's the Holy Grail. It's the Holy Grail in the Vitruvian. It's holy water in this deck. We also have the Stronghold of the Grail right there. The only angelic in the suit of cups that we don't see is the Shining Dew. We don't see the Knight of Cups. The Page of Cups is here. The King of Cups is the overall Archangel of Healing. The Queen of Cups, Ivory Shield, is on the side of Venus. But we don't see the Knight of Cups. It's almost feeling like, because the Knight of Cups is water and movement, it's almost feeling like these are holding the place of the Knight of Cups. But it's coming in through fire first. So that might speak to some kind of resistance. What's interesting is, though, it feels like we have our Aries and water. I was like, now Mars is in Cancer. It feels like an idea of this did come before. I don't even know if we consciously knew that this was happening. Like, it's in the third row. Again, we start with the Seven of Pentacles on the Mars side. It's not surprising, but again, like that was the point and the purpose of the healing or the introduction of whatever when Mars was in Gemini back in August, late August. What was that, the beginning of Virgo season? Okay. Back in Virgo season, apparently, we're on that Virgo Pisces axis. Um, like the healing started, it began at that point. It started trickling in with temperance. That adjustment started being made back in August. So that now, as things are turning in now, as we're like going through life, we'll be able to receive those things. And it's not often the Emperor has, I feel like the Emperor is one of those cards that gets a bad rep the most easily. And it's not ever hashtag not all readers. But it's like a lot of times when I've seen the Empress or the Emperor come out, there's like some mention of like manipulation or control or whatever. But it's almost like whenever the Emperor comes out, we're confronted with its shadow, but we're not necessarily like the Empress doesn't get the same treatment. When the Empress comes out, it's all about birth and abundance and fertility. It's like all of the great things of the Emperor. The first thing that rolls off the tongue with the Emperor, it's control, it's manipulation, it's somebody trying to put things in a box. But we see the Emperor coming out with the Holy Grail, with holy water. It's that new Emperor energy. And it makes me think of, was it Reem and Russ? I think Reem and Russ might have done a collaboration video, and the new Divine Masculine or the new Emperor energy came out. Oh, that was some time ago. I'm pretty sure that was before August. But it's here. But it was like the Page of Cups. So it was almost like hearkenings of that coming energy. What's interesting is though, it's that as like we're preparing to move forward, as we're cultivating our metaphorical land, as we're making our lives, uh, no problem, as we're making our lives suitable for this incoming energy, the last card that comes out is the past. I don't think it's necessarily the past as much as it is that it's Sun and Scorpio. It's bringing light to like deep rooted, deep seated things. Things that require a certain lung capacity to reach, things that require a certain tolerance for pressure to reach. It's almost like if you're not a Scorpio or a Pisces, then like it may be a challenge to get down there. Like Cancer's a water sign too, but I don't think Cancer likes it down there. Not to say that Cancer can't get down there though, I guess. But also, yeah, because there's the baby dragon and the baby phoenix. These are the baby lovers. So those changes that we were making in like starting in August, or the things that we were desiring that we're starting to consider more heavily, that we're actually making adjustments to our life. This is like a nesting energy that we're making adjustments to our life for. It's actually creating, again, it's like it's creating the space in our lives for these things to exist. This act is hatching the eggs, birthing these things into our lives. And again, since this is the baby lovers, it's almost like those, I don't want to say the actual choices and decisions are going to be happening now, that the will of life would be the maturing of these babies into the full grown. And I guess it's also interesting because, again, or maybe more so than interesting, there's a safeguard here. Temperance, the angel is standing in between the demon and the archangel of mysteries. The angel is standing in between the devil and whatever is unfolding right now. But you can see them here like chained up and like angry. They've been, but the angel stands in between. And it's also interesting because the way it came out, the dark side is facing towards the devil of the angel. You can see the moon. And then the light side is facing towards this archangel, the angel who illuminates the shadow. The sun, the illuminator, is on this, illuminating the shadow, sun in Scorpio. It's bringing those things to light and giving us this Ace of Cups, or Ace of Pentacles, sorry, the whole new world. Bread of life, wheel of life. This is the actual thing coming out. It's like one of those hand crank, like a gumball machine, I guess. When you crank the wheel, and after you crank it enough, like the gumball like falls down. Y'all know. I know not everyone necessarily has the same experiences, so I will for you Google gumball machine. Ooh, I gotta find the right one though. It's got to be the spirally gumball machine. It's got to be the big one. This one, the 5-foot wizard spiral gumball machine. It's this gumball machine. Like you put the quarter in there, and then you crank the little. There's like a little knob thing. You crank it, and then the gumball. You see the spiral. The gumball drops down, and it spiral, and then it comes out of the bottom. Right there. That's where it comes out. It's like that. Why the spiral? Why not just one of the simpler gumball machines? I don't know. Because it's the wheel of life, even though that's one wheel. So there's the wheel that you crank in the beginning. After you put the quarter in, this is the payment. And then you crank that wheel. And then the gumball, this is the wheel in reverse. Then the gumball comes down that spiral until it reaches the little door where you get it. That door, it actually makes me think of the unexpected visitors card and the Enchanted Map Oracle. I might pull before and after the unexpected visitor. I'm already at hour 17 in, so probably not. It just makes me think of that. The unexpected visitor, Archangel of Mysteries, ending on the title card. Some wish or desire that is protected by the highest authority in that realm when it comes to specifically guarding and protecting. What's interesting is, though, because remember, this Page of Cups is preparing us, and her interaction with the Page of Wands, preparing us to receive the Emperor with this Ace of Cups. Whereas we have 9 cups here being guarded by the Ivory Shield. There's the 10th cup to get 10 cups. That probably comes in somewhere in this title card. I think it's also interesting because if we do approach it that way, there's a maturation of this Page of Wands, walking away, going on whatever journey the Page of Wands needs to. And then again, on the Venus side of things, we see that it's become the Knight. After the Knight, there's the competition and the contender, and maybe the prize. The prize for it in the SKT is the throne. But instead of getting a kingdom, you're getting a whole empire. Do we become that emperor energy? I don't know. That's a you question. That's a you and your guides question. That's a you and your intuition and discernment type of question. So, face down. Oh. What? So after I literally just finished saying the Page of Wands has matured into this Knight of Wands, when you win the competition, there's something that you claim. It might be the Ace of Cups because, it's associated with the Emperor. The one card that was face down on top of this Page of Swords is the contender. The contender is the one who wins it. It's the Six of Wands. So it's almost like it's already known that you're going to win. The outcome has already been decided, or you've already decided the outcome. And now I'm confused. So it's like, do you even need to participate? Jupiter in Leo, Saturn in Leo, Saturn in Taurus, Jupiter in Pisces. So Saturn in Pisces. Okay. Give me 1 second to assemble these. There's something else I thought. No, this is Saturn in Taurus. Okay. So Saturn in Pisces, Mars. Jupiter in Pisces, Venus. It's almost like if Saturn and Jupiter were like opposing energies, because Saturn is the constraining, constricting, and Jupiter is the like if we use that astrological standard, there's this that happens in between Mars and Venus, but Venus does a self Saturn Jupiter here. Because the contender 5 of Wands is Saturn in Leo. The champion is Jupiter in Leo. So maybe it could be that, like, again, when it comes down to this competition, you may find that whatever from when Mars was transiting through Gemini, if you've been following your intuition and guidance, like if your intuition and guidance has been leading you somewhere through the space of what you desire for your life, or for what you desire from, or for whatever, if you've been following that, you might find that now that Venus is, because again, Mars was paving the way. Now that Venus is in that same area, when Venus has to compete in that arena, something that Mars did makes it easier. So that victory is basically already assured. It's almost like when that Saturnian influence comes in, because again, this victory is coming off of the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords, that is the result of the coordinated efforts between the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands back when Mars was in Gemini. Again, in the SKT, the 5 of Wands is a contention for the throne, but the Emperor is already here. So it's like you've already been prepared to ascend the throne or to take the throne. All you have to do is like utilize that knowing, or allow the fruits of your labor to come in for you. And this is the only path I'm reading. Or it's the only path I can read, I guess, because if that's not the path that you chose, or if that's not your specific path, like, it's the title card for me. What happens if you have to actually compete? I don't know. Not that you're asking me, but I can't read it. And I have to respect this title card because, again, the Queen of Cups is here. All she can tell me is that something that you desire lies beyond a previous capacity of yours to receive. if it is the emperor, like you had to take some element of control in your life or some element of responsibility. And it's not control in a manipulative way. It's like you had to fulfill your duties. So it's more than just daydreaming. Like there was some action that was required here. It's almost like an investment though, because it's like the payout is going to be much bigger than what you put into it if you started doing that investment back when Mars was in Gemini. If you started following your intuition and your guidance and like discernment, like back in August, it's going to be easier to navigate whatever is coming up connected to that, or that's like a combination of things that transpired in August. Is going to be easier to do it now. If Mars paved the way, all Venus has to do is like enjoy the ride, basically. But still, the Archangel of Mysteries is here. With the Archangel of Mysteries being here, it may present itself in a way that you might not recognize at the jump, or it may come in under a set of mysterious circumstances. Right? The divine works in mysterious ways. It can be like you go to this place and you meet somebody, and then you're introduced to somebody else. And like my friend was just telling me how she somehow ended up going to look at a property. And when she went to go look at the property, she ran into that's like her and her flow. Literally her and her flow is you'll never guess who I ran into today. While I was going out to do this random thing that I had an urge to do or whatever, I met someone who's literally connected to the thing that I'm creating right now, or like what is like occupying the most of my energy, what my energy is moving towards. I met someone today who was like already in the neighborhood. And I'm like, yeah. It's almost that kind of energy. But again, it's like the seeds have been planted since, or maybe they could have even been planted before August. But something about what's been transpiring or what transpired while Mars was in Gemini cultivated those seeds. Saturn in Taurus is the only unopposed zodiac energy, right? Saturn in Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces. Saturn in Leo, Jupiter in Leo. There's nothing, I don't even know if Jupiter in Taurus is either one of um, the other two cards. I don't think so, because what would Jupiter and Taurus be? It's like Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. Saturn in Taurus, Seven of Pentacles. Mercury in Taurus, Five of Pentacles. Moon in Taurus, Six of Pentacles. Jupiter in Taurus isn't a thing. But Jupiter is going to enter Taurus in May, I think. I think in May, Jupiter enters Taurus. So that might clue into the timing of some of this. It might not. Let's see. I love this app so much. I'm so sad that it's not on the Google Play Store. Jupiter transits into Taurus on May 16th. and then it'll retrograde, I'm pretty sure. So May 16th, which will be after the lunar eclipse? Question mark. Because April 20, yeah, that should be like early May should be the lunar eclipse. So it'll be after the lunar eclipse when that happens. So yeah, I guess this is it. Uranus is in Taurus right now, though. The node Uranus in Taurus. So yeah, I guess after the end of an hour and a half, Mars and Gemini. Okay, maybe I'll leave the astrology out of it. So like since Virgo season of last year, so like late August of last year, there may have been something that you desired in your life. It's almost like there may have been something that you wanted to feel, witness, or experience that would affect you on an emotional level. And then there came in a desire to make that happen. But when that desire to make it happen came in, you may have noticed or witnessed the things in your life that you would have needed to change or work through to make it possible for you to have that thing. So outside of it being someone else's control or whether or not somebody else offers you a position or extends you an invitation, it's like maybe like old mindsets that you would have had to leave that had roots and ties in emotional sort of realms. And so since August, maybe there have been different things in your life that you've been doing, maybe not even necessarily consciously related to that. But as your intuition and discernment has told you since August, like, hey, start doing this, or maybe some of the things you just start doing, it's actually been, it's almost like you've been creating the path to receive something. As you've been alleviating those resistances, maybe even again, it could be like entirely subconscious because there is like the seemingly, it's like they're connected, but they're seemingly unconnected. And then there's like, they, so like we might see the connection here now because now Venus is in that spot. As you move forward, you may start to get opportunities that are wish fulfillment. Maybe it's a dream that you had a minute ago. Maybe it's a dream you have right now. Like something that you wanted to do, something that you wanted to experience. And because of the work that you had been doing beginning August, like late August ish, you may find that it's a lot easier for you to accept or receive those things, or you may find that you're just like in the right time, right place. Synchronicity may come in and sort of align you to things. And it's like, oh, like, well, I've been working on this since like August, or oh, like around that time, like this really came to the forefront. And again, it's like whatever was occurring, whatever has been happening and occurring since August is going to make the transition into the thing easier. It's going to make it a lot less daunting. Um, if you haven't been listening to your intuition and discernment, it doesn't read like the opportunity won't present itself, but I'm not reading what you're going to have to do to like claim it. I'm not reading it because I can't. It's not on the table for me. The title cards for me are live life and find out. Again, this specific Queen of Cups, not in this specific version of this deck, but the Ivory Shield for me specifically is that like whatever is beyond the Ivory Shield is for that person to figure out. It's for their eyes and ears only. Like the divine will communicate to them, so it's a shut door for me. Sometimes I can feel into like what the energy might be. Sometimes I can give like guiding. It's like sometimes I might catch a draft of the energy through a crack in the door, and I might be able to like explain the smells or the feeling, and then that person can sort of like take over from there. Either way, it's not. It's a you thing. Um, Again, it's like if you've been following your intuition, discernment, and steadily working towards the thing, the work that you've been doing since August is going to help you receive it a lot easier now. And I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even think of that. I'm sure somebody somewhere had to have said something because she said she heard somebody say it. Um, what Mars prepared in Gemini helps Venus to receive, which is gorgeous, which is beautiful. Mars in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius. So that was a Saturn Mars trine. So maybe like when they were more exact, it was like, oh, Saturn. Well, no, people read trines as like a good thing, right? So it's like, oh, Saturn trining Mars. That means it's like, if you have the discipline now, then something good will happen later. Maybe this is the later. I am going to get final cards though, and I'm going to say 13630. 13630. And then I think the other one, I forgot the 13630. I think the other one was like 21 minutes. Yeah, 21 minutes. I'll timestamp that. That's the least I can do. Well, I could actually do less. I could not timestamp anything. Interesting. Solid. Nice. And again, like Archangel of Healing is here for the wheel of life today. And because of that, again, it's like you may, like it may come as a surprise to you how things end up working out or playing out, or how something that you've started doing or something that you've been thinking about since August, like how it's starting to really come up now, and how there's a divine ease or flow to it, how there's a synchronistic whatever. And again, it doesn't mean that you're not necessarily going to have to do anything, but you've already laid a proper foundation for receiving whatever is coming in. And again, if you didn't, it's not that you can't have it. I just don't know what it would require of you to do it. You might not know what it would require of you to receive. But if you can do what is required in the moment, then of course you can have it. And if you can't, then know that like the time where you can will come. You know what I mean? It's all in our own timing. It's just the path that the cards chose not to show me. So I'm not gonna. I will respect my own boundaries. I will respect my own limitations, and I will respect the boundary that had communicated itself. Because I'd rather say nothing than to misguide or missteer or misdirect. You know what I mean? All right, Vitruvian, what say you? Of course you do. Huh. The final card from the Vitruvian is the Keeper. The Keeper is the enlightened, awakened fool. We also see this dove that was accompanying the Ace of Cups that accompanied the Emperor. There are also two more doves. It could have been any one of these three. Again, the Keeper is the enlightened, awakened fool. The Keeper is the fool who has gone through the major arcana from the magician to the world. So that can be things from like in the magician, it's all about using the tools at your disposal to make something happen. The high priestess is all about our intuition and sort of respecting and acknowledging the fact that we don't know everything, and it's our ability to be led and guided when we need to be, even if we can't see. The emperor and the empress is about how we nurture and shelter and take care of and manage the things that we grow and cultivate and give birth to in our lives. The hierophant is about sort of like a working spiritual connection or a working attunement with spirit. Whereas like the high priestess sort of receives and remains in that in between ethereal, close to the divine space, the hierophant is the one that brings the word to the people. So in that way, it can also be like our daily habits and patterns because it's organizations and structures. And then we go into choices and decision making. We go into um, self exploration and introspection. We go through both initiating things in life. It's like knowing the difference between the things that we can control and we can't control. We go through periods of needing to see things from a different perspective, being stalled or going through a rest period so that we can change and transform in some significant ways. We go through periods of seeing something in our external that inspires us to sort of reach for more or to go beyond. Or we go through those periods of like realizing healing in ways like almost like firsthand. I think sometimes we can like work through certain fears, or sometimes we can achieve certain things within ourselves. But if we're not almost like prodded or instigated by the environment, we may not notice that that has actually transpired within. We go through, the birthing of things from conception and inception to like reality, things that we feel internally, things that we express. And the sort of evaluation between the two, and then like the whole world we recognize and we realize that just as we go through the entirety of that process and journey, other people go through the entirety of that process and journey, and we may be at different points along the way, but we can acknowledge and honor and accept that. And just as like there are people that go through that, the world itself is going through a process of maturing or evolving, or it's also participating in the passage of time. Is it maturing or is it getting more immature? Is it evolving or devolving? Doesn't matter. As we do it as individuals, as other people do it as individuals, as we do it as collectives, as groups of individuals, as the world itself, or as more collectively we begin to demand more from the world, or as we settle into complacency in the world, the fool recognizes all of that and can leverage and manage all of it. Every single piece along the way, the keeper has mastered. The initiate is the brand new. The initiate is, hey David, the initiate David Hartman, not to be confused with David Seawright. Hello. The initiate is the one who is just beginning that journey. The seeker is the one who has been on that journey for some time but needs additional information or an extra push or a little bit of guidance to continue the journey. The keeper is the one who completes it but like re-enters the world, is still living in the world. But living in the world, it's almost like to be in the world but not of it. Bottom of the deck again, or I don't think I told you, bottom of the deck is the sun, is the warrior. So yeah, it's definitely, but with the warrior archetype coming out under the sun, it's about putting it into play, putting it into practice. It's also about being almost like a shining example of that. Maybe the things that you've worked through, justice is under the warrior. So to be like a just warrior, to use your power for good or whatever. Not whatever to be dismissive, but the rest. It's to use that power in a way that would serve you well, or that would show you it's justice. Okay, it's not self-centered and self-centric and whatever. It doesn't, it's like you don't remove a corrupted individual from a seat of power or from a position of authority or advantage just to inflict the same, right? Just to become whatever you just whatevered. You know what I mean? I mean, you can, it's your choice, but justice with that warrior, would not recommend it. You may be someone's example, you know. And I think we always look to one another, whether we like it or not, whether we want to be an example or not. And we have impacts and effects on each other. And there are some ways that we are responsible for our impacts and effects, and there are ways that we're not. Because people are going to perceive you however they perceive you, and it's not your job to save anybody. Well, it's not your job to save anyone that I guess you're not that's not dependent on you. It's not your responsibility. You can't do certain things for everybody. You can't do certain things for anybody, even if it is someone that depends on you. You can do your best though. And you can do what your own heart, intuition, morals, ethics tells you is right. Right? The rest is up to whoever. So we go from the Knight of Wands to the Golden Shield. Now we see the Queen of Wands. So beyond the Page and the Knight, we see this one. Followed by the Grotesque, followed by the Defector. The Grotesque is the energy that comes out all the time. The grotesque is that thing that makes us special, different, and unique, but it can also be the source of isolation and difference for us. There is something divine within us. In this deck, the waters have parted to show us on the seabed the same thing that we maybe shamed ourselves for. And then we see the divine figure in the back, right? And then we have the Defector, which is that Eight of Cups. And we have Thoth, with that same dove bird and the moon with the magic triangle or whatever that's called. I don't know. But that's the same Eight of Cups that we saw in the other one. The Defector and the Grotesque together, it's like this is a decision to be in your authenticity, and those who don't accept you, so be it. There are going to be those who do, and you're going to mesh with and connect with those that are for you. The Golden Shield is the Sanctum of Splendor. Splendor, it's reading like abundance. You have a key that allows you access to this sanctum. That key lies within your authenticity. And it's almost like if you don't present it that way, you may be turned away. It's almost like it could be the energy, a metaphor of this would be like if you're really good, if you're friends with someone or if you know someone who knows you well enough that they have a feeling that they know you beyond your facade. They know you beyond your like everyday, like, you know, oh, this is just like when I'm at work, I'm this way, or when I'm like around people that like it's whatever, I'm this way. But when I'm around my close friends, it's almost like they can see your moon sign more than just your sun, more than just your rising. And they know someone who's looking for basically you. They're looking for someone who's just like you. But when you sit, so they give you your name, they recommend you. But if you sit down with that other person and you don't show them that aspect of you, then they're not going to think that you're the right fit. You know what I mean? And so there is, and it comes in the Five of Cups. Because there's like, well, if you don't really know somebody, like, why would you be that vulnerable? Why would you be that whatever, like, as soon as you meet them? Like, because of the embrace at the Five of Cups. Because of the decision to no longer hide the truth of who you are, or to no longer play at less than to fit in or to appease or people please. Your authenticity is the key to get you through the Sanctum of Splendor. And you will find those who can appreciate you, right? Maybe you were the artist beyond before your time. Then we have the Hermit. We have the Erudite. And it says Lux ex tenebris, light from darkness. Hermit of the mysteries, which is interesting because we saw the Archangel of the mysteries. What's behind the Hermit of the Mysteries? The hallowed flame. It's like this is the staff of the wand of the hermit. This is the fire of that because it's a bird on this other one. This card, I saw this card when I first started shuffling. That's when I saw it. The hallowed flame came out first, but then like 3 or 4 cards came out, and I was like, I'm not taking all of those. I'll reshuffle the deck. I'll shuffle it 5 times. If the cards come out again, I'll take them. But then the Wheel of Life came out. But this was the first card that came out as like an energy for Venus being in Gemini. But it's like you go within, you find this is like your spark. This is the thing, again, like this is your key to the sanctum of valor. This is the thing that makes you different. This is the thing that makes you unique. Maybe you buried it because it caused you some kind of hurt or pain because no one else at that moment, or like at that time in your life, could accept it. It caused you to feel, it's like it caused pain. So you mute it, you tone it down, you do whatever you did. That it makes me think of the Pluto and Aquarius reading that I did with the D&D tarot about how we create those beasts of ineptitude. It's like there was some power that we have, but we put it into the shadows, and in the shadows, over the course of our lives, it turned into this golem, Mike Wazowski monster, Cyclops. Because it's almost like as we've not been engaging with that, we've still been like almost like accumulating more fear of like, well, if these people knew that about me, or like would they still accept me? It's like, especially if we find some level of acceptance, if we find some level of belonging or some level of ease and some level of peace, having hid that thing, now to bring it out, it questions the foundations of what we've built in its absence. And it can be difficult. Not saying it isn't. I'm not saying it won't be, you know. But that's the thing. It's almost like to truly find happiness or acceptance or whatever. It's almost like it would require those parts of ourselves that we hide, almost by definition, you know. Because if they're hidden, then are we really truly accepted? If we don't communicate whatever, then are we really truly like being ourselves, you know? And again, social dynamics are a thing. It's not that we tell anybody and everybody everything, right? There are different layers and different circles, like close versus distant. Not everybody needs to know everything about us, but we can still hold like authenticity and integrity at every level, even if we don't disclose and share every single thing. You know what I mean? So anyway, the rest of it, you live life and you find out, because the title card said Patrick don't know squat and he's living life and finding out too. And if Patrick were to tell you something, then it might be wrong. So I do my best to accept it. Just like how the title card came out with Anwilla. It was Anwilla, the title card, and whatever. And it was like, you don't have to work through these things. If there's something that you can't face, a way will be made for you. You know what I mean? It might require you to be like, I'll say diligent, but not vigilant. It might require you to be like diligent in going about something, but it's like without having faced that thing, it's almost like it always has the potential to come in. But maybe at some point you'll find that you've built a foundation that's solid enough. You've lived life and found out enough. The divine has proved itself to you enough. The people in your life and the work that you do, and like, it's like that proves to you enough that things have changed and things are different. So at that point, you don't even really have to go back and work through or undo whatever, right? You can rest in what you've created. But it's just that sometimes, I won't even say oftentimes, sometimes when we hold on to those things and we don't address them, they can have the tendency to reemerge, and then we get triggered. We react in a way that might sabotage what it is that we're creating. It's almost like we may see something that's not even necessarily there, but it's because of something that we've experienced in the past that still weighs on us, that still affects us, that we now have to like be diligent. We have to be like strong. We have to be able to hold that, like hold the line and not slip and not do whatever, right? But again, we all have our own paths, and there are different levels of severity to the things that we experience, and there are different. Again, it's like not everything necessarily needs to be. I don't want to say healed, but it's like, let's say you have a phobia of open water, but you live inland and you never have a reason to worry about it. And then you reach the point where you're not even avoiding open water as you live your day to day life. You just like never encounter it. Then is that necessarily a fear that you have to work through? Some would say no, because it's never one that you encounter. Now, if you lived somewhere where there is open water, or if you worked a job that it required you to deal with open water, then like, yeah, maybe that's a fear that you want to face if it starts to impact your livelihood or whatever. But the future is unknown. The divine is providing those things. Use your own intuition, discernment, and wisdom and guidance as always. And until next time, thank you, Holly and David and David. Thank you, Holly and David and Dave, for being here. Maybe something from Mars and Gemini will resurface now that Venus is transiting Gemini. Maybe it won't. All I know is my friend said something, my journey buddy. My journey buddy said something, and then I was like, oh my gosh. For me, yeah, it happened. And I was like, I didn't even know it. I didn't even realize until she pointed it out. And I was like, oh, I couldn't get over it. So I knew I wanted to, come on here and at least talk about it. Not necessarily do a 2-hour long video, but it happened. So until next time, I hope you have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that when your intuition speaks, you have an ear to listen. When your discernment says go, you have the will and strength and ability to do so. And that when the divine says rest, you can take it easy. Because it's all each part and each piece and each cycle and each season, it has its time. And sometimes we're on a semi standby, like light work, not to be confused with light work. It's like, the demand isn't necessarily high right now, but we will receive an order in some time. We don't know what for, we don't know how much. So instead of trying to anticipate what it's going to be and doing all this work and then having all of this extra product that we can't really do anything with, we'll wait until we get the order and then we'll work hard. It's almost like one of those jobs where like there are different seasons. Like there's the busy season and then there's the lull. And overall, it sort of balances out. Your discernment, your intuition, your guidance, your wisdom, it'll tell you that better than I can. So, first and foremost, like I said, listen to that. And until next time, no problem. I hope all the best for you. I hope it's gorgeous. I hope it's easy breezy, beautiful. I hope you can find simplicity of a flow to it. I hope that if you need rhyme and reason, you can see it. I hope that if you can't see it and you need it, that you get some trust or that you can be patient enough to like find out. You know what I mean? So anyway, until next time.